Today on Raw Guitars video, I'd like to talk about the pentatonic scale and just how it served me. Now traditionally, for 27 years I never bothered with learning scales at all or even using them. I had a vague knowledge of them through looking in various books and that sort of thing, and lesson series, but I never actually bothered to sort of and then further down the line I did begin to sort of learn that there's 5 positions up and down the neck here. All linked like that, and beginning on lead guitar, I actually found it to be quite useful, and I like the tones, but particularly in blues music, because I do like blues very much, particularly when it goes into rock, into your like AC/DC Led Zeppelin kind of thing. And I was like playing around, just having a jam one afternoon, just sort of. Just doing stuff like that, and then I thought, add some high gain to that. It was like. And to begin with, I couldn't necessarily do a whole flurry of speed like that, but I could do like speed bursts. And gradually I would sort of work up that, and it would start to get I'd be able to cover a little bit more of an area, and then I was able to sort of, and also the thing I like to make good use of is a lot of bends, vibrato, that sort of thing, slides, and also double stop bends, that sort of thing, unison bends. So I still work off blues as the backbone, but sort of like really take things to intense sort of levels, that sort of thing. And that's how I play. That's how I play lead pretty much. And then sometimes I might do the odd. Probably not the best example of what I do there, but. Of course, I just sort of like throw in some just odds and sods, just simple 3-note things and that kind of thing. And of course, that is another sort of like, you get to that intense section in a solo or in a lick or whatever. So you start nice and slow. And put an odd note in there, and that's another thing. You can just put whatever sort of pass. They got a thing called passing tones and what have you. Sort of like break a few rules here and there, and sort of slip in and slip out and that sort of thing. Oh, sometimes you can have to absolute, and sudden changes and what have you. And then let it sort of breathe in between fast runs. Not necessarily always the best examples there. I need to sort of like it takes a little bit of work and that sort of thing, but it's something that I like to do and that kind of thing. So but it's like the fact that I just love the sort of classic rock, classic hard rock sort of feel, which is driven by blues, just driven to the max by it. And when you really go into sort of like intense depths and really push things to like the through the roof sort of thing, just really. And of course, all the demonstrations I've just done there are all in E, low E, but also working off the A string as well. Now, when doing all that kind of bluesy sort of stuff, I very rarely use my sort of pinky, but it comes in now and then depending on where. And usually when I get into the other, because I know another scale as well, which I do make a lot of use of when it comes to coming to a certain area in a solo, and if it calls for it, I tend to use it a lot. But that I'll explain in another video, and also I'll be able to teach a bit more about that one as well, or at least sort of show you. I don't really class myself as a teacher. I like to show you ideas and sort of like, and it's up to you guys to sort of like, do something with it or not, and what have you. But just like to sort of show the pentatonic and how I like to make use of the pentatonic scale, because like I say, where I played rhythm guitar for many years, I didn't always bother doing stuff, but usually, to a certain degree, when you're listening to a lot of music, a lot of rock bands and heavy metal bands, and music in general, it's all in there anyway. So these sounds for basic rhythms, where you only like if I'm doing like a basic. Just a chorded run or something. Again, that's a bit not really the best example, but it's kind of in there anyway. So, but these sounds usually just come out. It's like and of course, where I'm trying to sort of break down and explain this, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to explain music when I prefer to just jam and let things come out naturally, and that is usually the best way that things work. Particularly, and now blues is a really good example, because a lot of that is just like random stuff. It's a natural flow. It just comes out, and you don't think about it. You just do it. It takes over, kind of thing. So and the fact that it's traditionally a slow kind of music, even without the even though there's no boundaries and stuff like that, there's just no boundaries for when it comes to the emotion that takes over, and that is the whole point. Is like the thing I like to express here is like to explain here is emotion when it takes over, when the intensity and what have you. It's like that's usually the driving force behind the actual dynamic feel of the music, and that's basically all it is. So yeah, I use the pentatonic quite a bit as the backbone of my solos, and I decided to upgrade to lead playing, and for many years there were times when I think, right, this is it now, I'm going to do it, but because I like to write riffs, and I always like to be creative. And even if I didn't have certain other skills or certain techniques and whatnot, I just did it anyway. I just wrote anyway, and I thought that sounds like a good riff. And then you sort of forget completely about what else you're intending to do or trying to plan. And it's like, and things, because plans, it's like, nah, it's just like, just do it. It's just like and whatnot. But and of course, where I finally think, right, I'm going to do some lead now, that was where, after I just had a jam, and oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't make a plan to do that. It just happened. And at that point, I was actually thinking about a lot about classic rock players, because where I play, in my band, I always play extreme heavy stuff. But because I like to concentrate on songwriting and not just following what everyone else is doing, and sort of look under the surface a bit more and just capture the sort of, because a lot of the when you think of where extreme and aggressive metal started in the thrash thing in the 80s, a lot of those bands grew up with like AC/DC and Black Sabbath, and that kind of thing, Thin Lizzy, and those guys grew up with the blues players, so it's in there, sort of thing. So I thought, well, I was thinking about these, what sort of players they were, and I was doing me sort of going further back and listening to older bands, and then you sort of like learn more about what's actually going on. So